all gonna die.
Welcome back. We are talking episode 4, Come and Get Me of American Horror Story 1984. Leave your comments below and tell me what you thought about tonight's episode. I really do think this was the turning point of where the rest of the show is heading. I actually thought it was a 12 episode run. It's actually 10 episodes. So we're kind of midway. It's kind of crazy how we're already in the middle of this season, but we're at the midpoint now. And we have that one twist that every other season has offered, that signature twist that American Horror Story does. And I told you before, there were certain seasons that did it better than others. In the last few seasons, I was really disappointed. This one is a really, really big improvement compared to the last few seasons. So here with True Killers are two main factors we're talking about here. One is Montana's motive of why she wanted Brooke killed. And we found out in the last episode at the very end that when she was talking to Richard, she tells him, why didn't you kill her? You were supposed to kill her. She's obviously talking about Brooke. Throughout the week, I'm wondering, why did she want her killed? And it all goes back to that flashback of when Brooke was supposed to marry that guy and he kills his best men, and one of them looks like was involved with Montana. So she is blaming Brooke for that. And I was thinking that's got to be the only reason. Why else would they show that flashback? And it looks like that's exactly what that was. The other big factor here is, of course, probably the biggest twist we've seen so far, and that is Margaret. And we end up finding out, this is a spoiler here, so if you haven't watched the episode, please stop watching. But the twist here, we find out that Margaret is the killer. It wasn't Mr. Jingles at all. And basically what we're getting here in this episode are two storylines pretty much. One is the Night Stalker and how Montana got involved with him, and the other one is having to do with Mr. Jingles and how he's actually innocent. And they all eventually merge together into that probably the most iconic scene of the episode with Mr. Jingles versus the Night Stalker. It's some kind of like Mortal Kombat tournament happening there, but it was kind of exciting to see that. It kind of actually reminded me of Freddy vs. Jason movie where they both fight each other, and it's kind of like an iconic moment for that movie. So it was kind of memorable probably for a lot of people watching that scene, but it brings it up to that one moment. And it was very interesting to see how both sides started to unfold. But there are a lot of memorable moments in this one episode, actually. A lot that I liked. I'm not going to go through every single one, but I do like the whole opening sequence with Montana when she first meets the Night Stalker, Ramirez, and one of the guys in the aerobics class are complaining about the music and giving her a hard time, and it looks like he tries to impress her by killing him. She finds this guy hanging by the wall with his intestines hanging out, and instead of her being disgusted and horrified, she finds it kind of like a turn on and is attracted to this guy. So now she has the type of personality that maybe some people were kind of expecting, because she is a bit weird, but I wasn't personally surprised by this, by the way she reacted, because now we know she was involved with him some way. But that's that type of situation I was not expecting at all, but I do like that whole scenario and how it was set up like that. But other than the flashback sequence, most of the time Montana's just trying to play stupid with everyone else, making everyone think that she's still innocent, that she has nothing to do with the fact that Ramirez is there in the first place going after Brooke. And she even tries to attempt to rescue Brooke when Brooke is trapped in the net in the middle of the woods, and she does a good job doing it. So no one thinks still that she is responsible for having this guy out here, and that goes with Margaret as well. Margaret is the killer. This is something that a lot of people probably weren't expecting. I knew there was something up with her, but I really didn't think that she was the killer. But looking at all the evidence that we were given in this episode, and every little clue that we were given before this, it kind of makes sense now. With Margaret, though, I did enjoy the flashback when they were going back to 1970 when she was a counselor. So we're given a lot of insight with what happened with her and Mr. Jingles. We actually feel sorry for Mr. Jingles, at least I do, because he had nothing to do with those murders, and she framed him, and it looks like they had some kind of like romance going on, just like with Montana and the Night Stalker. So that's another thing. You have two of these people that are involved with each other, involved with the killers, so to speak, and they both have some kind of romance going on. And with them, that's kind of a tricky one, because it looks like she got him in trouble even though she liked him and he liked her back. So that one's a crazy one as well, but it was a twist that I kind of saw coming in a way, but I did enjoy how it presented it itself. And it just makes me wonder what's going to happen the next 6 episodes, knowing that Mr. Jingles is apparently he's not around. He got stabbed, but we didn't see his body anymore, so we don't know where he is. And with the Night Stalker, with Ramirez, it leaves off another cliffhanger where he is apparently being brought back to life. It looks like it's some kind of demon, some type of spirit, so I don't know what's up with that. So it's going in so many directions now, but those are the main parts of the episode that's really important. What's going on with Montana, what's going on with Margaret. With all the other characters, Trevor and Chet and Xavier, they're just pretty much all trying to stay alive. But unfortunately, another spoiler here, we find out Trevor dies. He gets stabbed, as you already saw, and Xavier almost died. I was almost convinced he was going to die in that oven when Mr. Jingles put him in there, and I was just sure of it. I was like, okay, there goes another one, and it threw me off that Trevor was actually the one that died. And then Chet, well, we found out he died as well. So we have all these characters on this show. They're kind of dropping like flies, and it's a lot faster than I thought it would be. But then again, if I look back at the other seasons, probably a lot of characters happen to die a lot quicker than we would expect them to. But there are definitely a lot more questions than answers right now. At least we have answers that Margaret is the killer. We know that Rita, Donna Chambers, that we know that she is the one responsible of releasing Mr. Jingles to the camps. We know Montana has something to do with Ramirez, the Night Stalker, and wanting to kill Brooke on being at the camp in the first place. But it just raises a lot of questions in regards to Ramirez. Why did he all of a sudden get resurrected from this entity that we don't know about? And with 6 episodes left, we now know who the true killer is. There has to be something else that's going on, something sinister, something that we don't know, because there has to be some kind of storyline that has to fill in the next 6 episodes, because this is the type of twist that you would normally see at the end of any season for any other show. But this is an American Horror Story. I mean, you're going to see the twist coming by the middle, and it's going to take us for a loop in a totally different direction that most of the time we weren't expecting. But I gotta say, I'm actually not disappointed as of yet with this season. It's only the 4th episode, but with it being this big twist, it still hasn't really let me down yet. I'm still intrigued. I'm still liking it. And actually, I love the actors. I like everyone in the show, and they're not really considered veteran actors of American Horror Story. Maybe Emma Roberts is, but everyone else we don't really see as much, maybe here and there in a few other seasons. But as I mentioned when I first reviewed episode 1, there's no Sarah Paulson, there's no Evan Peters, there's no Jessica Lange, of course, but seeing them, it's really bringing this trademark of what American Horror Story is with these actors, and they're really fitting in to this theme, which is the 1980s at this camp, with this whole theming of Friday the 13th and Halloween. So it's really fitting together for me. I'm really enjoying it. But as usual, I want to hear from you guys. Once again, tell me in the comments below what you think about this episode. Where do you think it's going now that we have 6 episodes left, that we're at the midpoint? Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned next week when I review episode 5, and make sure to subscribe to hear more from me regarding movies, TV shows like this, and more, where anything is possible.